Hi, in this video, we're going to show you how we lay down solid red oak flooring. So this flooring is in a four-plex rental in Columbus, Ohio. We had every intention of just taking up the gross beige carpeting and refinishing the beautiful red oak that was underneath. For some reason, the previous owners decided to take a circular saw to the hardwood. The only guess we have is they were trying to alleviate some sort of water damage. We can't fix it. We just need to pull it up and replace it. Now, in the one bedroom that's in this room, the wood is fine. So we don't want to take that up. So we got the exact same wood, the exact same width, and we're going to lay it down here in the living room and connect it to the bedroom, so hopefully no one's the wiser.
Hi, Nick here. So I'm going to talk about the first step. Now, before we even get started, I had to go through and re-screw the floors down, so get rid of all that creaking that a 1940 building has over the years. We also had to replace 7 subfloor boards, and we just used the same planked wood that existed. Nowadays, you're going to use OSB or plywood. Back in the day, they used good old wood planks. We're also going to take some 30-pound felt. They use this for roofing, but back in the day, this is what they use, and they've developed some newer products that are very similar today, but this is stuff, it just stands the test of time. So we're going to lay this down as a moisture barrier on top of the floor before we put the hardwoods down. So again, we're going to be using 2 1/4 inch red oak planks. Now, this is a tongue and groove, like most wood flooring installations, and we're going to be stapling it into each other as we nest the tongue into the groove. So normally when we lay a floor, we start at the end of a room. However, in this particular case, we are matching up to the bedroom area. And I want to make sure that it's a seamless connection there. So I'm going to be starting here in the hallway and just extending into the middle of the living room. And then we're going to insert a spline, which I'll show you, and then go in both directions that way. So right here, the first run is the most important. Basically, what we want to do is line up with the existing flooring, which is 2 1/4 inch red oak solid planks. And we're going to run this all the way down at a 90-degree angle and put a 2 1/2 inch nail into this joist, every other joist, just to solidify the floor. Those 5 holes that we're going to see will be filled with wood filler, and then from then on, we'll do the tongue and groove and staple at a 45-degree angle, and you won't see any more holes. Okay, so I started laying the first couple of planks, and remember, we're putting 2 1/2 inch finish nails into every other joist. One important thing is to make sure that your planks are square with the existing wall and the existing floor, if that is your situation. So I'm using my carpenter square to make sure that everything lines up, and it does. Now, as I work my way across the center of the room, I'm going to want to use my 8-foot level to make sure that these pieces of wood stay straight with each other. So I'll just rest it right up against the level. Go to my line where I marked it. Okay, now that we have our first line of wood down as our starting point, I need to add some spline. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because we're going through the middle of the floor, because I wanted to line up with the bedroom right here, which the threshold will be seamless now. Now, the reason we're adding spline is because when you use your nail gun or your staple gun, it actually goes on the tongue side of the piece of wood. So this is acting as a tongue. So you have a tongue and a groove. We're going to have a tongue on both sides now, so that we'll be able to just run in both directions with the staple gun. So to attach the spline, we're going to use wood glue, and you're just going to put a little bit into the groove, and then we're just going to put this piece right in there. Be careful not to get any glue on the surface of the wood, because that will impact the stain when you go to stain the floor. Just take a damp cloth or paper towel, wipe it up and make sure it's clean. Other than that, we're just gonna wait a little bit for this glue to dry, and then the easy part comes.
This is an up close and personal shot of what the spline does. So Nick glued it in here, and see, this was originally the groove side, and now we've made it a tongue. And there's a tongue over here. So now we can go that way as well.
Okay guys, so as Nick said, now we're ready for the fun part. We just get to put the wood in and hopefully it goes by real smoothly. I wanted to show you real quick the tools that we're using. This is a flooring stapler, and these are flooring staples. My understanding is staples versus nails is kind of tomato, whatever you prefer. Staples are a lot cheaper than the nails, so if it really doesn't matter quality-wise, then I'm gonna go with the cheaper option. So these are 2-inch staples. The length really depends on your subfloor. If you have a really hard subfloor, you wanna get a shorter staple, but ours are old school wood. It's not a big deal. We got the 2-inch. You probably wanna rent this guy because it's really expensive to buy. The one thing I learned from the tool professionals, this tool professional, is to be careful what cleat you put in. Depending on how thick the wood is, this is gonna give you the right angle when you're installing the wood. So I don't wanna tell you what to do because it'll depend on what kind of flooring you have. So yeah, put the right cleat in there, get the right size staple for your subfloor, and you're so good to go. Okay guys, so I haven't yet talked about pattern. So you noticed that our planks are at random lengths. So you can have fun with it. The one thing that you don't want to do is when you're looking back on your flooring, you don't want there to be seams that are too close together because it just doesn't look right. Also, when you're running the boards, before you commit to doing one board, then doing another and stapling them in, I would do a dry run so that at the end, you don't have like a little nub down here. No nubs. And as you can tell, this one is a little long, which is good because then we can cut it to size. And here's the tongue here. So this is the way it will go, but I don't want to cut off this end because I don't want to cut off the tongue on this plank. So I'm going to flip it around, which Nick always has to remind me because I can't think backwards like that. But I'm telling you to flip it around. That way when you cut it off, the tongue is indeed over there and it's still the length that you need. And we just use our miter saw to make the straight cut. Safety first. This is how a team that suffers with OCD lays out their planks.
So there's gonna come a time in your project where you're gonna no longer be able to get your staple gun in place to staple the floor down. So I have a solution for that. We're gonna use a 16 gauge brad nailer. I've learned it a couple of different ways. There are a variety of ways you can do this. This is how I do it. So you're gonna take the piece and you're gonna apply a little bit of construction adhesive. Just a few dabs every 6 inches or so. And you're gonna slide it into place just like normal. Now for the last couple runs that are really close to the wall, this guy's gonna come in handy. It's a pull bar. I'm basically just gonna set it right on the wood, and it has a little lip here where you can just set it into place. So my no drip caulk gun is dripping. So I need a paper towel, honey. So once that it's in place and it's glued, you're just gonna take your brad nailer or your finish nailer and go into the grooved area, not on the face of the panel. And it'll be a seamless finish just like before. If your nails don't go all the way in, it's great to have a nail set. You can get one that's spring-loaded. In this particular case, we don't need it, but I can demonstrate. Just right on top of the nail. Boom. So the flooring's done. It took about 3 days, and that includes a day of ripping out some of the subfloor boards, replacing those, and screwing every single subfloor board down with 2-inch screws, which eliminated all the squeaks in the floor. As long as you have your own tools and the willingness to give this a shot, I think anyone can lay their own floors. It just takes a little bit of time. If you have any questions about this, please let us know and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Also, if there's any other special projects that you want to see us work on, let us know and we'll be happy to add that to our list. And most important, please subscribe. It's very important to us. Hero would be so happy if you guys would subscribe.
After each step is finished, we do a happy dance!
Yeah! There was a creek that is no longer there.